You guys, welcome back to my channel. Here is a video on how to make salsa estilo Oaxaca. This salsa is a little bit on the tastier side for those people that do not like spicy, but I really do recommend to try this salsa out. It is very tasty. With that being said, here is what you will need to make this salsa. Chile Arbol is a must for this kind of salsa. You will be needing 5 of them. These chilies are a little bit on the spicier side, so if you do want the salsa to be a little bit more spicier, then I recommend to add a little bit more. You will need 2 Chile Moritas. These chilies are so tiny, but they do give off a really good strong taste to salsas or any food that you use them in. And you will need 2 tomatoes. These are Roma tomatoes specifically. It is really up to you whichever tomato you would like to use. And this one is the Chile Pasillas. You will be needing 1 to make this salsa as well. You will be needing 1 peppercorn, 1 clove, and 1 piece of garlic for this salsa as well. You cannot forget onion. Most salsas always use onion to give it that very nice taste. So we're gonna start off with taking off the stem off the chili and also taking off all the seeds. If you prefer having the seeds in your salsa, you can totally do that as well if you like, but personally I will be taking them all off of all of the chilies I mentioned. With taking off all the seeds from the chilies, it will make it also less spicier. Personally, I do not like my salsas being that spicy. I feel like I don't enjoy them as much, but this one is very enjoyable and very tasty. If you do have to cut the chili in half, like how I did right here, it will be a little bit easier to take off all the seeds. This process is a little bit time consuming, but the salsa does come out really good towards the end. Up next are the Chile Arbol. I will be taking off the stem and the seeds as well. But with these or any of the chilies, to be honest, I would recommend if you have sensitive skin to wear gloves. Be very cautious with taking off the seeds or even touching the chilies and then touching your face. I ended up getting itchy from my face and I ended up scratching it while I was taking off the seeds, and it ended up burning my face for probably 15 minutes. So be very cautious with doing this. Or as well, for some people who have sensitive skin, even doing this, it will burn the tip of your fingers. So like I said, please be very cautious. Right here I am cutting the chilies in half so I could take off all the seeds as well. It is much easier to take them all off with cutting them in the middle. I am putting the seeds to the side so I could just make it easier for me to throw them away at the end. And for the last chilies, the Chile Moritas, the first chili did have a little bit more seeds than the second one, which was very weird to me, but I guess I ended up getting lucky with the second one. Moving on to the next step is getting a pot and filling it up all the way to the middle with water so we could put our tomatoes in there and then put our chiles, all of the chiles in there. And then when you put all of the chiles in there, now it's time to move the pot onto the stove. We are gonna leave it at medium heat so they could start boiling on the stove. So for approximately 5 to 8 minutes, when you see it boiling, turn it off, and then we move on to the blender, put the piece of garlic in there, and as well as the peppercorn and the clove. And don't forget the tomatoes and the chilies. They go right in the blender as well. I honestly forgot to record the part where I put the onion in there, but it's just a little bit less than half of onion that you're gonna put in the blender as well. That's gonna give it that amazing taste. And don't forget to add a little bit of water so everything can mix well in the blender. I also ended up adding a little bit of sugar. Yes, this is sugar, and as well as some salt into the blender. I ended up using the Morton salt and just put just a little tiny bit in there so it won't be so salty. And then we are gonna start blending it all up so that salsa could form and we get that amazing consistency that we need. So with that being said, this is how it looks. Now go enjoy it with some taquitos or some huevos. Bon appetit!